What happens when the world looks at you and decides your limits before you even discover yourself? What happens when teachers stop calling your name, friends stop expecting anything from you, and society quietly lowers the bar for what you can become? Most people never recover from this. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lose Alice's belief. Self-belief is not confidence. It is not arrogance. It is not pretending to be strong. Self-belief is what remains when everything else is taken away. This is not a story about motivation. This is a story about survival. Because before Les Brown became one of the most powerful motivational speakers in the world, he was a child the world had already given up on. This is the life lesson of Les Brown, a man who learned to believe in himself when the world refused to do it for him. Les Brown was born into poverty in Miami, Florida. Not the kind of poverty people talk about casually, but real, daily, exhausting poverty. He was born to a teenage mother who was struggling to survive herself. With no resources, no support system, and no stability, she made one of the most painful decisions a parent can ever make. She gave her children up for adoption. Les Brown and his twin brother were adopted by a single woman named Mamie Brown. Mamie was not wealthy. She worked low-paying jobs. She struggled constantly, but she gave them something rare: structure, discipline, and love. Still, love alone does not erase hardship. Les grew up watching his mother work endlessly, stretching every dollar, fighting just to keep food on the table. From an early age, Les learned that life does not start equally for everyone. Some people are born into opportunity. Others are born into survival. And survival consumes energy that could otherwise be used to dream. School should be a place where confidence is built. For Les Brown, school became a place where belief was destroyed. He struggled with reading, struggled with comprehension, struggled to keep up with lessons. Teachers did not ask why. They did not look deeper. Instead, they labeled him. One day, school officials declared that Les Brown was educable mentally retarded. That label changed everything. Teachers stopped calling on him. Expectations disappeared. Classmates began to see him as inferior. Worst of all, Les began to see himself that way. When authority figures repeatedly tell a child that they are incapable, that message does not stay in the classroom. It moves into the mind. It becomes identity. Les stopped raising his hand, stopped trying, stopped believing effort mattered. Failure no longer felt temporary. It felt permanent. This is where most people lose their future, not because they fail, but because they accept a lie as truth. Once the world places a label on you, it treats you according to that label. Les was not encouraged to dream. He was encouraged to stay in his lane. Low expectations followed him everywhere. Teachers expected little. Peers expected nothing. Society expected failure. Over time, Les internalized these expectations. He began speaking to himself the same way the world spoke to him. You're not smart enough. You're not capable. This is all you'll ever be. Self-belief is fragile, and once broken, it does not heal easily. This internal damage is invisible, but it controls lives. Les Brown was alive, but his confidence was dying quietly. Everything began to change because of one teacher, one moment, one sentence. When Les attempted to answer a question, a teacher stopped him, not to embarrass him, but to empower him. The teacher said, "Young man, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." That sentence did not change Les's grades. It did not remove his struggles, but it planted a seed. For the first time, someone challenged the story Les believed about himself. That seed was called self-belief. Self-belief is hardest when there is no proof. Les did not suddenly become successful. He still failed, still struggled, but something shifted internally. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" he began asking, "What if they're wrong?" That question changed his direction. Belief does not require certainty. It requires courage. Les began reading books slowly, listening to motivational tapes repeatedly, practicing speaking alone. No applause, no encouragement, just persistence. This is the phase most people quit because belief without results feels foolish. But Les continued. Life tested his belief aggressively. Les worked as a janitor, a sanitation worker. Low pay, little respect. People looked at him and assumed his future. This is all you'll ever be. But something inside him refused to agree. Not loudly, not confidently, quietly. Belief does not scream, it whispers, and that whisper kept Les moving forward. Les Brown discovered radio, the power of voice, the ability to reach people without being seen. He wanted in, but he had no experience, no education, no credentials. So he started as a janitor at a radio station, cleaning floors, watching others live his dream. At night, he practiced speaking alone, preparing for an opportunity that did not yet exist. When a chance finally came, he was ready. Because belief prepares you before permission arrives. Radio gave Les discipline, but the stage gave him purpose. He began speaking publicly, sharing his pain, his failures, his truth, not polished, not perfect, but real. And people listened because authenticity is powerful. Les realized something important, Ty. People don't connect with success. They connect with struggle. Stages grew, audiences expanded. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because Les stayed consistent. The world did not believe first. Les believed first, and eventually the world followed. Les Brown teaches us self-belief must come before results. Labels are opinions, not destiny. The world rewards proof, not potential. If you wait for belief from others, you will wait forever. You must become the first believer in your own life. If today you feel unseen, unbelieved, underestimated, remember this: the world has no obligation to see what you see in yourself. That responsibility is yours. Self-belief is not confidence, it is commitment. And when the world doesn't believe in you, you must become the first witness of your own greatness. Success, just like as Les Brown did.